All right, we're underway. It's a mountain here for Caleb. Nate Milson. I guess he wants to go by Nate. We can do that. Here is a runaway Steamkin. For Nate, it's another Hallowed Fountain. And there's a Battlefield tapped. For Caleb, it's a mountain. This is a Wizard's Lightning. We're going upstairs. Bigger Steamkin. In for 2. Milson's already down to 15. There's an Isolated Chapel. I hope Milson has a spell. Oh, boy.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to be casting into a really sharp player from Scherer not playing. You do not want to just run things into Absorb. You need to be a little fancier than that.
Here's another attack for 2. Caleb with some real patience here with 5 lands on the battlefield and a lot of spells in hand. He'll simply pass the turn back. Vrask's Contempt will take care of the Steamkin. We'll go back over to Milson now. Milson does have a lot of cards in hand. Looks like a couple copies of Absorb in hand. And there is a Pyromancer. Nope. That gets absorbed. Well, what's next? Shock You. Okay. Light up the stage. Okay. Mountain. Oh, boy.
Yeah, Caleb just drawing a lot of lands here.
Not good. So we head back over to Milson. Teferi.
We're all done.
We probably are. If there's a land plus the untapping of 2 mana, yep. Well,
Scherer's on it.
He played it just like you would.
Beautiful.
Same deck, same concession.
I wouldn't have made a single play different. Nicely done.
So Nate Milson is going to win game number 1 here over Caleb Scherer. Esper Control very quickly up a game over Mono Red Aggro. We'll go to the sideboards. I'll start with Caleb. Actually, you got it in front of you. You can do it.
4 Lava Coil, 4 Treasure Map, 2 Fight with Fire, 2 Bane Fire, 3 Goblin Chain Whirler. So my approach for this kind of matchup is I like bringing in 4 copies of Treasure Map, 2 Fight with Fire, and 2 Bane Fire. With the Treasure Map, if you sneak it out, you draw a lot of cards. It pairs very nicely with Bane Fire. Fight with Fire is kind of a mixture of another way to kill Esper Control if the game goes on for a million turns, while also giving you an answer to Lyra, their best sideboard card against you. You need to cut 8 for that. I usually start with my preferred sideboarding is -4 Shock, -4 Skewer the Critics. I want to get away from the sorcery stuff a little bit more because they're playing with Absorb, and I want to play more cheap creatures and then instants. But you could also cut the I also am fine with cutting the Runaway Steamkin. Just try to get off the creatures a little bit because Esper Control's got a lot of answers to creatures.
All right, well, I'm taking a look here at Milson's sideboard, and there's 4 Thief of Sanity, 2 Duress, 2 Negate, 2 Cry of the Carnarium, a Profane Procession, a Moment of Craving, 2 Lyra Dawnbringer, and an Arguel's Bloodfast. So Lyra, of course.
Yeah, Lyra.
Craving, of course, right?
And the Duresses and the Negates are good, too.
So that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cards to come in. Probably can sideboard out Kaya's Wrath. Do you really need that here?
Yeah, I would get the Precognitive Perception.
That's
I think is a little sketchy.
Notion Rain.
Notion Rain, Cast Down. Yeah, you can make a. There are enough modest cards that it's not too hard to cut.
Well, game 2 underway.
That's
here.
game.
Okay.
That is game.
He said it.
Not killing that.
He said it. Thought Eraser's a little bit late. Skewer the Critics is going to be the selection. 2 Mountains and a Fanatical Firebrand left in hand here for Caleb, as Milson will surveil and leave that card on top of his deck. On the upkeep, it'll be a Treasure Map activation here for Caleb. Take a look at the top card. It becomes the bottom card. So now he'll draw hopefully a better card. Picked up a copy of Risk Factor.
That is game.
Here comes the Firebrand and the Lava Runner.
We're time shifting all the way to game 3. So.
Milson will play an Island. Has Absorb at the ready. Pass the turn back.
They always have Absorb at the ready.
That's true. That's true. Treasure Map activation. Going to keep that card. Going to play this Mountain. We'll start by attacking. In for 2. No Risk Factor played there. A little surprise maybe?
No, Caleb is not running things into Absorb.
Okay.
That's a really critical part of playing against Esper Control. It's part of the reason that I don't like Experimental Frenzy. You can't just be throwing things into Absorb. Sometimes you can't play around it. You got to go for it, but Caleb's got the luxury of not having to play into it.
Well, here's an activation of Treasure Map once again. Top card looks like it's going to stay on top. We'll see where it goes, but now Treasure Cove is here along with 3 treasures, so Caleb's going to be able to see multiple cards per turn or ramp into a big burn spell.
Yep.
Caleb will draw that card. Didn't get a great look at it. It may have been another copy of Risk Factor. Not so sure. This would be a Shock You. Okay. This must be light up the stage then. Yeah, it is light up the stage. That will get absorbed. And now attack. So now he's gotten by the absorb. We can't forget, by the way, that there is a copy of Risk Factor in the graveyard.
Yep. And you can see the way that this game is playing out a little bit, why I like to get away from the sorceries a little bit. Because just running into absorbs and negates is really tough.
That'll be a search for Escanta. This will be the Dawn of Hope. Now we go back over to Caleb. Caleb is going to sack a treasure to draw a card. Looks like it's Fight with Fire along with Light Up the Stage. Here is Light Up the Stage, Spectacle style. 1, 2. Well, mountains aren't great except for there is a Fight with Fire in hand. So it's not the end of the world. And again, there is still that Risk Factor in the graveyard.
And Banefire is kind of hanging around in the deck somewhere.
Mm-hmm. Search for Escanta will put a Drowned Catacomb into the graveyard. Swamp will be the land here for Caleb Scherer. Excuse me, for Nate Milson. We'll be going to Caleb Scherer in just a moment. Pass that turn back. That mountain is over there in exile for Light Up the Stage. Fanatical Firebrand the draw. Caleb will play that land. Here is the Firebrand. See what comes next now. Because again, Milson does have a lot of cards, not a lot of cards in hand, but he does have a couple in hand. Caleb's going to draw off of the treasure and simply pass the turn back. So, Dawn of Hope is going to make a 1/1 that has Vigilance and Lifelink, if memory serves. Maybe just Lifelink.
I think it's just Lifelink.
Just Lifelink, okay. Search for Escanta now. Nate Milson wants that card. Here's an attack. Block and shoot you. Okay.
Yeah, still just trying to soften up for Banefire or Fight with Fire.
This makes it more difficult. Thought Eraser will take the Fight with Fire. Milson going to surveil to the top. Little surprised not to see Risk Factor play there on the end step. Here is Risk Factor now. All right. Taking 4, going down to 7 is Nate Milson.
You can flash it back right here if you want to. I'm imagining Milson's going to just let you draw 3 here.
1, 2, 3. Wizards Lightning among those cards. Yeah, a little jump start there from the Risk Factor. Very powerful. Mountain. I think you're incentivized to play all of your lands because of Banefire.
Yeah, well, it cuts both ways because you have the Risk Factor you want to flash back as well. But it's way more likely that Scherer is bottlenecked on mana than not having enough cards to operate with. So I like playing the land there. But sometimes you want to hold back depending on the exact amount of mana you have and what exactly you're trying to set up.
A couple copies of Teferi in hand here for Nate Milson that I'm not sure he's able to deploy. There's a block, there's a shot. So no lifelink yet. Caleb going to try to stop him from ever getting the chance to do that. Here is maybe Teferi. It is. Draw a card. There's a Glacial Fortress. And now untap a couple of lands. Lightning Strike's going to go upstairs. Milson's going to go down to 4.
And now the Risk Factors are just Ancestrals.
There's a mountain. This is Fight with Fire for it all. 10 year real good. Yeah. That's the plan.
There it is.
That's the plan. Go big. Can actually kind of go long with Esper Control that way.
You can get underneath of them and still play if the game goes on for a long time.
You saw that in spades in that second game there from Caleb Scherer. And now we're all tied up. Mono Red Aggro and Esper Control getting ready for a third and final one.
Treasure map is
6.
just busted.
It's very good.
Busted.
It's very good. This sideboard plan, I think, is very, very effective.
It's Search for Escanta, but you just get a Black Lotus sometimes if that's what if that's what you need.
Maybe Treasure Map's better than Search for Escanta then, huh?
It is not.
It's not. No,
Yeah.
No, it's not. It is quite good, though.
Yeah, it's really good.
And it's also a nice way to sidestep.
Oh, you got Mortify?
Yeah, yeah, and that's a favorite part. Yeah, you get to sidestep Mortify.
Well, what about your Mortifies?
Yeah. Is that how people say it?
Exactly.
Is that Mortify?
Exactly.
Is that Mortify guy?
That's exactly the tone of their voice.
Got it.
That's how they talk.
Okay. Both players will take a look at their 7. Caleb looks a little mountain heavy.
Yeah.
I guess you kind of want more lands after sideboard.
It's not
right?
bad. It's you play a deep game, and obviously you want to be mindful about. You don't want to flood out necessarily, but you have some protection against flooding out.
Sure. To know, we're going to take some more questions from you at the end of the round, and then coming next round number 7, Ryan Overturf, Todd Anderson, they'll be back in the booth for round 7 and 8 before we're back for round number 9.
Because if all you try to do in this matchup is nickel and dime them down, you're just a moment of craving is just gonna beat you. You know what I mean? You need to be able to hang around in a longer game a little bit.
Speaking of which,
yeah,
there is
that's game, and that's game again.
Yeah.
Caleb Scherer wins this match 2-1.
But Nate has his powerful 2-mana
That's true.
spell.
Yeah.
So okay.
Yeah.
There's a mountain. Pass the turn back. Over to Nate Milson will go. He will surveil. He'll keep that card. He'll play Thought Eraser. Well, it's Shock or Banefire. I would choose Banefire. Banefire is the choice. We're going to head back over to Caleb now. He'll scry on the upkeep. Top card becomes the bottom one. Draw again. He is flooding badly.
Yep.
Yes, he is. 2 mana. Dawn of Hope.
Yeah, that one is really good here.
Top to bottom, treasure map becomes treasure cove. 3 treasures, draw a card, picked up a lightning strike. Caleb's going to have to draw some real good ones, folks.
I'm interested to see exactly how much of did Caleb side out of his creatures in general.
Yeah. A couple of burn spells are going to go after Teferi. So now Caleb is going to sack and draw. Picked up oh boy, 4 mountains in hand. That may not be game, treasure map guy.
Well, you get your ancestral, but you give it back by drawing, 5 lands too many.
Mm-hmm.
Cuts
both ways. Yeah. Shock the draw, play a land, sack a treasure, draw a card, light up the stage, passes the turn back maybe. He's going to start with a shock, now he's going to go to light. Resolves, mountain treasure map, try to resolve treasure map. Resolves. Okay. I was curious maybe if Milson was having some problems with his mana or not. Doesn't appear to be the case, as here's an attack for 1. Now he'll draw a card, thanks to Dawn of Hope.
I'm surprised that Milson would rather draw a card there rather than just make another token.
A little surprised.
I think as long as you keep... So if Scherer's going to beat you with Banefire, the extra cards you're drawing don't really help that much.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing protects you from that. Gaining enough life where it's just out of the question to get Banefire enough, that does actually get it. That is protection against Banefire.
Light up the stage is going to resolve. Fanatical Firebrand, that's going to resolve. Caleb is actually playing a pretty good long game here. He's just flooding really badly, but he's got another treasure map that's going to likely transform here in just a moment. Here's an attack. Will there be a block or a shot?
If I'm Caleb here, I'm just shooting that down. Yeah, yep. I know it doesn't look good, but you got to trade off with these tokens.
Milson will pass the turn back. We'll go back over to Caleb again. He will on the upkeep. Activate treasure map. Remember, Caleb has 2 Banefires on the board?
Yep, 2
Banefires. And one's in the graveyard?
And 2 copies of Fight with Fire.
Okay. Another treasure map. Activate. Look. Bottom. Activate treasure cove. Draw. Picked up a copy of Fight with Fire. Now, the tricky part here with Fight with Fire is that it is counterable.
Yes.
So, Absorb or Negate can take care of that, as here's Precognitive Perception. Excuse me.
Caleb's just going to Banefire him for 20.
I hope for his
Does
sake
not
he gets
do
there.
any damage.
Search for Escanto is transformed now, too.
I wish Milson was, for his sake, just doing a little bit more of working with the counters, with the making tokens here, rather than
with Dawn of Hope.
No, rather than drawing cards. You're only going to lose by some weird Banefire thing. Just pad your life total a little bit.
Well, I think Milson. What are you looking for with your card drawing skills? I think your best thing that's going on actually is on the battlefield.
Yeah, it's Lyra maybe.
Yeah. Well, Caleb's going to do a little bit of drawing with treasures now, 1 and 2. Get a little bit deeper into the deck. Now he's found some Knuckleheads finally. And Giyatu, Lava Runner, and Fanatical Firebrand. Cards of that ilk. There is Fanatical Firebrand. I'm just going to pass the turn back. Again, this is your classic 3-color versus 1-color deck matchup, where these 1-color decks have great mana, but the 3-color decks are just more powerful.
Yes. And at this point, I think Scherer is not winning this game other than by doing something. And here's another spot where Milson, I think, activated as counter there rather than making a 1-1. If I'm Milson, all I'm doing with my mana every turn is making 1-1s and then just attacking. That's the only thing I'm interested in doing. If you're going to lose to Banefire, then these extra cards don't do anything.
Or Fight with Fire. I suppose Fight with Fire is counterable.
Right. That's one where, yeah. But that's another one where gaining life also is a countermeasure. Now Scheer's got, he's been flooding out so bad, it's kind of crazy, right? And now we're in the spot where he's got a handful of spells. Like, if Milson starts tapping out to do things, Scherer might be able to hammer him back with multiple spells in one turn.
Well, there's Absorb to counter light up the stage. Here's Risk Factor. Yeah, I feel like Milson might be playing a little too risky.
His position isn't bad, but he is playing in such a way where Scheer's 1 out is live, and I think that could have been cut out of this game.
Caleb wants to go to Risk Factor again.
I mean, if Milson goes to 15, then the Banefire is lethal. He's actually just letting Scherer draw 3.
Yep. Let's see what else Caleb wants to do. Light up the stage. 1, 2, Lava Runner, pardon me, and a Mountain. Caleb going to leave the Firebrand back. I think maybe I was a little surprised by that. There's Teferi. All right, draw a card.
Same as before, I'm not really that concerned right now if I'm Scherer with Milson drawing cards. I guess finding Lyra is concerning, but if he's just holding up a shield of counter magic,
you can play through that, I think.
Yep, you absolutely can.
All right, Caleb, you got a bunch of lands on the battlefield. Only 1 treasure left to sacrifice.
And eventually you got to start drawing some spells because
you only have so many lands in your deck, right? Play a land there off of the light up the stage. Another treasure map in hand for Caleb right now. Oh, there is the Lava Runner. Here comes another Lava Runner.
Now we're in a spot here where Milson's going to maybe get his mana overwhelmed all in one turn here. Scherer has been flooding out really bad, but at this point I'm sure his hand has multiple spells. He can start trying to do something of substance here.
Here's an attack with the Knuckleheads. That is a Vraska's Contempt. It's an expensive way to kill a 1-mana creature, but it works all the same. Looks like 2 damage is going to come through. Is there a way for Caleb to keep working through this wall of permission? Next is Treasure Map. All right. Well, going to try to fireball you. Fight with fire style, so we'll see if you have an Absorb or a Negate. Bang.
Yeah, and if Milson decides to counter it, then that's at the expense of him being able to activate his Dawn of Hope.
Ooh. Took 10 down to 9. It's an Escanta activation. Now, for what it's worth, I wouldn't activate Dawn of Hope now because the Firebrand's there just to kill the token. So maybe it's not as good now, but there's plenty of time before.
No, I'm saying to prevent drawing a card because the Vraska's Contempt allows him to draw off the Dawn of Hope.
Oh, okay. God, I forgot about that.
Yeah. You have Absorb and Vraska's Contempt.
Oh, sure. Okay, well, big angel. How about that? Finally found it. Untap a couple lands with
But here's the thing: even if Milson gets in 1 hit, the Banefire is still live.
Yeah. The Banefire could be game over right now. Caleb going to untap all these lands on the upkeep. Treasure map again. Scry 1 for fun. That's a long look at a Lightning Strike. Sack a treasure, draw a card. What's this one? Fanatical Firebrand. Just a little fella. A lot of Lightning Strikes in hand right now for Caleb. Caleb does know that Milson has a copy of Absorb in hand. Worth noting.
Yeah, I think Scherer's trying to see if is there any way that I can kind of push Milson into tapping out to be able to kill him in response.
Well, we'll see what the game plan is. Skewer the critics. Didn't expect this one. You're at 6.
And I think Scherer's probably just going to say go.
What could this attack be?
I think just trying to answer the Lyra.
Okay, skewer the critics.
Right, skewer
went after Lyra. Okay,
right.
okay. Got it. Mortify. Lightning strike the token. Yeah, Caleb will not let that thing live.
Yeah, well, Caleb doesn't want Milson drawing any extra cards here, and Scherer knows that he's drawing 2 Bane Fire, which is good to go at any time. So just prevent Milson from gaining any life here, being able to draw any cards. Find something that can shut you out of that.
There's an Escanta activation. This is a negate.
Still no good.
Not good against Bane Fire. Bane Fire is the out here. Strike you. Negate or absorb. It's going to be negate. All right. Caleb.
And he gets so many looks at it. Remember,
he gets a ton of looks at it because he's got 3 treasure coves.
Right. He's got the other coves that are on.
All right. Draw. Mountain. Sack 1, draw a card. Next. Sack 1, draw a card. Next. Sack 1, draw a card. Next. I think that was shock, skewer. Maybe risk factor. Activate Escanta. All right, make your move. Shock you. Shock the token. Shock the token. Got it. Never mind. I mean, Caleb's game plan has been the same all the way throughout, right?
He's got 1 Bane Fire in the deck, and he's looking for it.
That's all he's doing. And he is looking for it hard. It's maybe a Thought Eraser. Sure. Take the Skewer of the Critics. There's another Skewer of the Critics. 2 mountains in hand. Where is that fireball?
And that Bane Fire can be good for a really long time, too, because even if Milson starts chipping away with some of these tokens, Scherer's got so much mana that the Bane Fire is still good.
Well, where are you, fireball? Nate Milson will discard a couple of lands. Where are you, fireball? 4 treasure coves, a whole bunch of mountains, and risk factor. Where are we starting?
Yeah, I like casting Skewer here.
That gets absorbed.
Basically, if Milson lets it resolve, then you have some hope there of him making you draw 3.
Risk factor gets absorbed as well. So now Milson's up to 15. Let's do the count. How many?
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I mean, now at this point, Milson may be able to pin Scherer's mana here a little bit. If you're going to cast if the first one gets absorbed there, the Skewer, I would have strongly preferred, I think, just not casting the risk factor after that. So you're just letting Milson spend his mana way too efficiently.
And that is going to do it. Milson's able to climb out of that one because Caleb